Yo, what's good? You're listening to Everyday Superpower, the place where you can learn about body language, non-verbal communication, and everything in between. Today, we're going to talk about cuddling. We're going to talk about cuddling and hugging and all of that good stuff. Yeah, we're talking about attraction as always. Well, I say as always. It's not always, but it seems, that's a mutual agreement we all enjoy. We do enjoy being in the throes of attraction with other individuals. It's very human. It's very perfect and pristine, all right? Leads us into the meaning of life, in my personal opinion, which is procreation, childbirth, and allowing the generation to move onwards, all right? So let's talk about hugs. How we start hugging another individual. So the very first hug and how we sort of develop it into more and more and more. So I want to ask you a question. I want to ask, what parallel do you think hugging has with intimate and sexual contact? As one may say, the physical touch and the cohesive bond that is created through a hug and the physical contact is not too far off of the antics that begin in the bedroom from there on, given you are both in mutual agreement. But one may hug an individual whom they aren't necessarily interested in, who knows? Or would you? So if a woman was to open her arms to hug you and embrace you, her choice, is that indicative of her being attracted to you? I would say more than likely so, in some way or another, purely as she doesn't have to do that. She has chosen to enter such an intimate space with multiple planes of skin in connection with yours. So it comes from the Scandinavian word hugger, which means to comfort, okay? The biological roots are linked to comfort and caring, right? We can go to the zoo and see primate babies programmed to cling onto the mothers, right? Not much has changed. You still receive that comfort and care. And given you hold on to each other for long enough, it actually starts to spur on the creation of more and more powerful connective endorphins that bond you two together. We hugging is the equivalent to the clinging response in these primitive beings. In times of danger, the infants will cling onto the mother's fur with such a tight grasp, and the mother will escape or take which action necessary in order to continue survival. So if we look at the baby primate being within the mother's arms, and we connect that to our own physical connection and feel within the hug, what we find is a maternal and paternal reaction in the unconscious mind of one another as the action persists. Maybe on one side more so than the other, you never know. As the man may capture the woman in his embrace paternally, allowing the woman to regress back into the days of youth as to where she was helpless and found comfort and protection within the arms of her parent or parents. It's the evolutionary correct way to say I love you, the non-verbal way to state I love you. And if you approach it from that animalistic viewpoint, it also states I need you. Okay? We become each other's baby during the courtship phase as we connect to one another, relieve ourselves the stress of adulthood, shed our skins, and become young again. We reassure an individual through hugs. Everything's going to be alright, such as that link to the parental affection once again. When a woman says she finds security with a man, in these times, those feelings are accentuated, alright? I want a man with a dad bod. More to hold on to, more to hug to. Biologically speaking, it's better to be in shape, better to be athletic, but when two become one in embrace, the feelings remain. And as far as the regressive sense, in a Freudian sense, the role of the parent, of the father, may be accentuated given the man is of larger stature, infantizing the woman more so. When it comes to dating and establishing connection and engaging in hug from a friend to lover standpoint, it may establish itself from light tactile touches to the skin, leading to a side hug at some point later on down the line, as to where you may reach around, or they may reach around to you, your waist, or cup your upper arm and squeeze you in. And it's a lovely feeling, right? It's a feeling of love and care, and those emotions and regressive feelings I spoke of a moment ago manifest themselves within moments of doing so, especially with the shock of the suddenness of the waiting for this moment. And now we have our release within the arms of others. And then from there, later on down the line, given that nature has done its job, you can join in your first frontal embrace, okay, as to where you reach your arms around each other, palms flat against the partner's back, and pressing oneself towards each other. Very alike sexual intercourse. Now, one thing to question is how close are the torsos, the genital areas, one to another. That is a very telling sign as to where they stand in a relationship. And don't get me wrong, if they're close enough to hug full stop, they already have established some sort of close relation. But if you were to look at a couple who have been together for 5 years and see their full frontal embrace and identify that their torsos aren't necessarily, or going out of their way to not touch each other, that's something to question and to observe, alright, with your mind's eye. Caring, warmth, security, and closeness. The full body embrace, alright. And that's a little talk in regards to hugging. The development of the hug. Where it may send our mind as far as our childlike characteristics and mind is concerned. What does it mean to you? I'm signing out. Peace.